Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is my Prose presentation assignment. Let's begin. Have you ever felt alone and lost, whether it be in life or in groups? Ever just begin to wonder why is it that you don't get the amount of deserve in credit or attention that you think you need? Has it ever occurred to you that maybe if you weren't there, someone else could be doing your job way better? Has the feeling of self-consciousness and doubt ever filled your mind, creating you to think that you're the black sheep amongst your very peers in your group? Hello, my name is Garcia-Sandoval, and I am here to do my Prose presentation assignment on Scott Winkler's deep psychological dive titled The Kicker. I know I have never noticed except at moments like this. 3 seconds remain on the clock. Over 3 hours I've appeared on the field for approximately 30 seconds. I stand alone on the right hash mark near the 40-yard line, tossing spears of dead grass into the air to gauge the direction of the wind, while 60,000 eyes trained on me in the stadium, while another 10 million are watching in living rooms, in sports bars, and on raised televisions and department stores and electronic superstores, while 52 teammates and 14 coaches refuse to look at me for fear they might shatter my fragile kicker psyche, while 53 opponents and their coaches watch with their eyes wide or narrowed, but all on me to be certain, and twist their mouths to spit invective designed to shatter my fragile kicker psyche. Except for the handful of plays they bring me on the field today, 2 extra points, a field goal attempt that went wide right, and 3 kickoffs, I am alone on the sideline. I sit on the far end of the bench, huddled beneath a heavy poncho that shucks off the falling snow that can't keep December chill from seeping into my joints, my knees and hips and shoulders. My teammates say nothing to me, for we kickers are a rare breed. Are they afraid I will snap? Afraid I will send my 180-pound body hurtling into their tree trunk thighs, their moving trunk chests, and that my paper-thin pads won't be enough to prevent my bony shoulders from breaking bodies one could only attribute to the wonders of modern chemistry? Or are they respectful to my craft? Do they know the physics of kicking, the delicate triangulations of plank foot, kicking foot, and held ball? Do they understand that my art is dependent upon factors beyond my control? What about the snap? What if it's too high or too low? The entire timing of the delicate operation is thrown off. What about the placement? The ball being tilted just a fraction of an inch in the wrong direction at the spot of my kick can result in the sailing 15 feet off the mark where the goalpost stands 50 yards away. If I do not hit the ball's proverbial sweet spot, it will not explode off my foot. Its trajectory will carry into it like a ham-like hand of the behemoth charging, leaping from the other side of the line. Art my ass. There is no physics to kicking. You just boot the ball for all you're worth and make sure it splits the uprights at least 7 out of 10 times, or you're on the street and your wife is busy with some man who smells like a national forest and drinks a single malt scotch you keep locked in the cabinet. The opposing coach calls the timeout. He knows my kick can erase his 2-point lead at the game's final gun sounds. He knows that if he loses, he'll be called into the general manager's office and be handed a pink slip, that his entire coaching staff will suffer exactly the same fate. Happy holidays, coach. Right now, the announcer sits in his booth and tells his television audience the opposing coach is trying to ice me. What an interesting phrase, ice me. I'd always thought that December in Green Bay was enough to make me shiver without any help. If I make this kick, I will send 60,000 happy people to their cars. They won't mind the snowfall will grow heavier and heavier as they drive to their homes on Oshkosh and Appleton, and Milwaukee and Eau Claire. They'll battle the occasional slick spots on the highway with good humor. They'll walk into warm houses where loving families await and holiday smells wash over them. Christmas cookies, pineapple glazed hams, apple cider simmering on the stovetop, and the Norway pine in the living room decked with miniature lights and tinsel. If I miss this kick, 60,000 people will suddenly realize how cold they are. They'll lean on their horns as they jockey into a maze-like parking lot. They'll curse the snow and slide into ditches. When they do get home, their families will have grown hungry, tired of waiting. They will have eaten the meal, and a plate of ham will have grown cold, its juices congealing into jelly that holds tight into the plate, the cider tepid, the cookies stale. And though the miniature lights have been unplugged, they will still smell the Norway pine. And what about the millions glued to their televisions? Do I really believe that a 35-year-old man with a shaky marriage kicking pebbled leather between yellow-painted steel posts makes a difference? That 3 points would do what nearly 2,000 years of Judeo-Christian tradition could not accomplish for some people? That one kick, the ball in the flight for 3 seconds, that feel like an eternity, will make a woman remember that she once loved me? Is that your final answer? If I make this kick, my teammates will swarm me. Their taped hands will thump my back, pat my helmet. They'll carry me off the field on their shoulders, their savior. They will have survived to play another week of me sitting alone on the end of that bench. Another week of me coming home from practice to an empty house and waiting for her to return with the scent of cigarettes and stale beer in her breath. I am a kicker. Hear me roar. And now it all goes silent. I know a beer commercial still plays on the Jumbotron. I know a bearded man stripped bare to the waist is bellowing at the top of his lungs along with 60,000 others. I know coaches are screaming into headsets. I know a vendor tries to sell one last jumbo hot dog. But I enter a zone and I hear none of it. And when the referee blows his whistle, when the opposing units fall into formation with me 10 yards behind the center, when the ball is snapped and giants surge into one another in barbaric grunts and pads popping in collision, I still hear none of it. I do not hear the slap of a ball against the holder's palms. I do not hear the whisper of my cleats on the turf as I stride forward to the ball. I do not hear the solid thud of my foot striking leather, nor do I hear the hiss of the air around the ball as it climbs, spinning end over in the parabola that carries it to a place I can never know. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good rest of your night.